Zach's Corner. I don't remember what episode this is.
Yo, what up? Big Uncle Zach back in your ear hole. I'm down here at the Never Again Studios, and we are live. Well, we're not live, but we are recording Zach's Corner podcast once again. Super hyped to be back. Mike, what up?
Yeah, doggy. Back in the lab.
Yep, we're back in the lab. We got the podcast back up and running, and a lot of people have been asking me to do it, and I've been wanting to do it. It's just a matter of us getting our crap together, and I believe we have a pretty good, solid plan for the future here with Zach's Corner and Never Again and everything that we got going on. So a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to explain. Haven't been here a while. This is like number 70 something, but honestly I feel like deleting all my old ones and starting all over, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Ross the boss came down, got Zoom hooked up for Mike. He already had all the stuff, but now we're gonna have Zoom. So I'm gonna start actually pulling in some of my clients, like not just clients, but like people that I know, all my famous friends that I, am aware of. Eddie Bravo, John Jock Machado. I'm going to try to get all the hitters in jiu-jitsu. And then I'm going to go after some other big names and just different aspects, not just jiu-jitsu. But since we have the Zoom, they don't have to actually be here in the studio, which is always hard. Schedules are crazy and everything like that. So I'm looking to get that Zoom going heavy and start bringing in some people, getting some really dope podcasts and some really good information. So I got some of my buddies. I'm gonna get them in. Obviously, gonna hit up the jiu-jitsu community hard, get the big hitters there. And I know I have a lot of pull with getting those guys. But then I feel like there's some other guys that I feel like I'm like one or two hit ups away from getting them on the podcast. Like for instance, like RFK. Like I know he's busy right now with running for president, but I feel like that could be a guy that I might be able to somehow get a hold of and maybe get on here, even if it's just for 15, 20 minutes. Like obviously we got to rip a few coming back, get some other people on, but then I'm going to go after people like him. I'm going to go after Alex Jones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to go after people like that because I feel like, I've met him before. I've never met RFK, but I know enough people that know people that could probably be like, look, this guy is a podcast. It's professional. It looks good. He gets a decent amount of views, whatever. But it'd be like, if you want to hit the jiu-jitsu community and you're not in the jiu-jitsu community, my podcast might be a good one to go to. So, especially because I have a different perspective on most things. And the MMA fighters, a lot of MMA guys that I know, retired guys, just people in the biz that I feel like I could definitely get up. Some local guys too. I would definitely want to talk to them, like business owners and stuff like that, because it leads into kind of what we've been working on. So
yeah.
And one of the things we've been working on is kind of trying to obviously always working on leveling up and getting more professional and getting our stuff together even more than we had it before. Even though Mike's always had a fully produced podcast down here, even when we were doing the Now We Go podcast, it was like every week we were ripping podcasts down here almost every Monday morning during COVID. Yeah. So now though, with the Zoom and just, I think part of what my problem is I'm too nice, obviously, and it's nothing wrong with being nice, but I just want to give away so much information for free because it's easy, and it's mostly like I become friends with someone and they become a person who they want to get information from me because they know I've been in the game a long time, I have good ideas, whatever, for whatever reason they want to talk to me. And I totally love giving out free information and giving out information, but now I'm at the point where I have a son, and he's 2 years old, and he gets it. Me and him, he knows when I'm not paying attention or if I'm like looking at my phone. I don't want to do that. I want to put all my effort into hanging out with him when I have the chance to hang out with him. So in the mornings, like people are hitting me up and texting me and calling me and stuff, and I'm not answering it. And I'm just like, man, what are these people crazy? I'm like, let me alone for a minute. I'm with my son. I'll deal with it in the afternoon. And it's a lot, man. Like, you could ask some of the guys, like I'll teach a night, then I'll go look at my phone and I have 30 messages. Like, what the hell? Like 30 messages? Like, come on, man. That's ridiculous. Everybody knows that I'm at jiu-jitsu at night. And so a lot of it is just little things that I have to do. But a lot of times I get hit up by people and they're interested in these things. High-level photography, high-level videography, brand building, running a small business, running a business exactly like mine, podcasting, social media, marketing.
Did you say apparel?
apparel. No, I didn't say that. Apparel's another one because that's definitely one that we've talked about a lot, where people just annoy the shit out of us with it. Like, yo, Bill, get me a logo and make me shirts. It's like, whoa, what? Like, there's so much that goes on. I recently don't even do the gear at the dojo anymore. Shout out to John Blank Thor. He took over most of the gear for us. Obviously, I still have my ideas going in and stuff, but they got a hitter coming up. We got a new rash guard coming. It's going to be sick. Like, we didn't even release it. We're not even going to pre-sale it. We're just going to have it. It's just going to show up one day. And we only got 100 at Bethlehem, 50 at Allentown. So if you don't get it, shit out of luck. So
I like that move, doing the limited apparel.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
No pre-sale, it just shows up and it's ready to go.
I got that. I think I showed it to you, but it's going to drop in September, and I'm going to put it on a better shirt.
Yep,
I'm going to put a sticker with it. I'm going to charge more money for it, and it's going to be packaged better. And then that shirt's going to be different than the ones that are for drop shipping.
Nice, exactly, yeah. And it's only limited time, and I'm not holding it, and I'm not sending it like on the low or whatever. You got to come to the school and get it. It's just I'm stepping off of it.
Not ordering an extra small.
No. I'm stepping off of it because it was too much work. Keeping up with the website, keeping up with the inventory, coming up with new ideas, dealing with the manufacturer, getting the stuff shipped in, paying for it. It's just a lot of little stuff that I don't want to do. John, he wanted to take it over. Perfect. Boom. I can sink my teeth into other things.
Yeah.
Mainly teaching class at the dojo, which is what I feel like I'm good at. Not that, he's busy as shit too, but it's just another thing that I don't have to do, which is really nice. But all of those things people would ask me about, and then I would end up spending hours on the phone with them explaining everything, how I did it, and different ideas and, different strategies and stuff. And then at the end of the day, I would get nothing for it, and this person would disappear from my life, and I'd be like, I got to stop this. And
or if they ended up not even pursuing the project.
That's 99%. That's 99%. I'm not going to name names, but I have 2 or 3 just off the top of my head that I thought of in a millisecond of things that I helped get started that just people let die off. And I understand it's hard to stick with it. Look, we're just bringing the podcast back now.
Yeah.
I haven't done it for a while, and I've been saying I was going to do it, and I didn't do it, but now I'm doing it. But the main thing is the reason why I brought that up is that that's one of the reasons why I brought the podcast back, because I want to talk about these things and I want to give out free game. But the free game I'm going to give out is on this podcast. No more calling Uncle Zach being like, hey, man, can I borrow you for like an hour and a half so I can just steal everything you come up with? And I'm telling you, dude, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I've come up with some good ideas for people. And I was not like I was going to run with that idea, but I gave it to them.
Yeah.
And now it's like the idea and everything is fine, but it's like then when it comes to doing the actual work, it's like, dude, so my son, sometimes my parent, not my mom, but my dad will give me a hard time about this. Like, he doesn't understand that my son takes a nap. He's 2 years old. He takes a nap at 12:45 till about 3:15.
It's a nice nap.
Yeah. And
good time to nap, too.
In between that time, I never get to take a nap because I usually have a lot of work to do. But you guys know I'm running the tournament, finishers tournament, the school, teaching class, strategy, looking up matches, traveling, with my family. Like I said, in the morning when I'm teaching when I'm feeding my son breakfast and stuff, I'm not dealing with messages. I'll check my phone in the morning just to make sure that there's no emergencies or anything. But then after that, like if you're trying to get a hold of me, I'm just not answering you. You know what I mean? And it's no disrespect. Sometimes it's even partners of mine, but it's like, dude, I want this time with him. When he goes down for a nap, then I'll start to do my work. Okay. But I only have that time. Seems like, yeah, it's a great time. Time goes quick when you start working, and I'm cutting the grass and I'm doing other stuff. So maybe I have an hour. Why am I spending on a time giving it away for free? Especially if, and this would be good to give the info away for free, if I was selling something afterwards. So I could be like, hey, here's all this shit I just gave you. Can you sign up with me and do my, business coaching thing, and I can continue to help you? But that's the barrier that I figured out that we needed between
boundaries,
people. So that way when they're like, yo, and I'm like, hey, here's what I do. I'll help you a little bit. But right now, like this week, I was booked up pretty much with people who were paying me. So like I will spend 45 minutes to an hour with them a day on whatever I'm working on, but I'm actually getting monetarily reimbursed for the time. And that's what I got to do right now. Like, I'm doing good, but I want to really make sure that I'm spending my time wisely, where I'm actually making money. And that's what I want to do. I want to make money to go on trips, have fun with my family, save up money for my son. So, we came up with the name of the thing is called the Underground Agency, and it's just a fun name that I came up with, and Sean really ran with it, and he's such a killer with the logos. Dude, but that's the thing. He crushes
Instagram
shit. Yeah,
has just turned into like James Bond.
Yeah, he's a machine, and he's he does it quick, and he knows what looks good, and he gets it.
Yeah,
people around here,
that
ask
dude
him
will
to
turn
do
stuff
something for you.
turn stuff around in 24 hours.
Yeah, nobody does that. No dudes, American, people they're working for like some graphic design thing, and they just don't get it. Even people who are in jiu-jitsu, they're like doing it themselves, and I just look at their flyers and their whole situation looks like crap. So Sean's the man, and then I got you, obviously, the podcast guru, and then we have Quentin 610 on Instagram, who does all of our documentaries. Just went down to Who's Number One with us, and he does a lot of photography for us and stuff at the dojo too. Anytime we need someone to like film something, put in archives, he's in there doing it. So I figured, all of us together, I'm like, okay, this is actually like a brand building, personal. Like if you want to put money, like you can do it on yourself, grassroots, and just do it like everybody else, and just have your Instagram, whatever you post, and film with your phone, and do Instagram lives, but it looks like crap. But if you want to get really professional and build your brand, think about it. You get me, who's done it, right? So you get me as like a consultant where I can help you with this kind of stuff, and I could say like, hey, this looks good, that looks good, I would change this. If you own a dojo, let me get your link tree set up, let me get your email list. Like I talked to all these people, they don't have an email list, they don't have any which way to get a hold of anybody besides Instagram posts, and that's not always the best. So I start to like get your whole thing so it's all working together. So like the hands, you know what I mean? Like it's not like, hey, one thing goes and it just, like you're selling gear. Like, how do you send the people the new gear? Like, think about your email list. I signed up for an email newsletter from Ruka, RVCA, 15 years ago, and I get an email once a day from them that I have to go delete. But every now and then I'll be like, actually, you know what? Out of the 7,000 emails you sent me, I need a new swimsuit. Yeah. Boom. I need a wallet. Boom. And then you go buy something. But that's how people don't have that. So that's where I come in. All right. Then I'll say to them, like, okay, now you have everything working together. You can actually sell stuff. People know where to find your things. You actually have a YouTube. You have an Instagram. You have all this stuff in your shop working together. People want to learn how to sell shirts and stuff through Shopify. Then I say to them, okay, now what you should do to actually sell your stuff, which is what I'm doing right now, is to go on Mike's podcast, spend a little money, because it's not free to just sit down here. The man, he needs to be paid for his time. All this equipment shit didn't just come out of thin air. Film yourself, do the podcast, write shit down, think about what you're going to do. You don't have to do a podcast every week.
No.
Because that's tough. You don't have to do one every month. You could do one every 3 months and just go on there and kind of like overlay what you're doing and hit everything. And then you could just be ripping clips off that forever.
Clips, we were just talking, clips is the big thing.
Yeah. And not to mention, you could do that, but you can also rely on not just your, and we've done this together really good, where we've molded our, our like, I don't want to say fans, but like followers or whatever you call them. You know what I mean? People who watch our stuff. We've gotten a ton of people come to the dojo off the podcast. We have a ton of people from the dojo come and do the podcast.
Yeah. And buy shirts and stuff. Yeah, it was cool to see that.
Buy the burgers, come in and do all the
integrate over the years.
It's smart to do. So you'd be like, for us to like, we'll be posting all your stuff, and you'll get the whole brunt of the whole Never Again universe of people who see your stuff are going to see your stuff now. So it's a whole nother, group of people. Plus you have all this footage, high level, stuff edited, looks good, professional podcast sounding. Cause like, even I listen to, not to dog on some people, I guess I won't name their names, but their podcast, the audio is just awful. And if they have someone call in, or even if they have someone in the studio, you can't even hear what they're saying. It's the worst quality of all time.
There's like top tier podcasts. Yeah. I remember, I forget, I don't listen to him, Chris Hardwick. Mm-hmm. His podcast audio is absolutely awful. But it was motivating when we first started, because when I started this, I wanted it to be because we weren't video, so I wanted it to be overproduce the audio so it sounds ridiculously good. Then we went to do the same thing with the video. So I mean, I'm gonna be upgrading a lot of stuff down here. We're gonna get new cameras. Eventually, all the mics will be like the one you have, and
Nice.
I'm putting money back into the studio this year. So you know.
And you got to make money, spend money. I mean, that's the thing. We're always putting back.
That's
into
the other thing
business,
too. Is like people don't realize like if I ran this as a recording studio, the amount of money it would cost to walk through the door. It's like I have friends who have recording studios. He's like, hey, those people are paying because you paid for all this equipment.
Right, yeah.
So you have to pay. It's the same thing as a school.
And having an
Like
engineer,
you're
yeah.
paying because you built a school and you have mats there. You know how annoying it's been to get to where you're at with the school. Something of a facility like that, you don't just get handed shit like that.
Yeah, no, and people, a lot of people want it for free because they just don't think about it, and they don't think about like what time costs and all the equipment and like even moves. Like the reason why you pay instructors and guys that are really good more money than other guys is because that dude put the work in. Like I had to go to California and Japan and Texas and all these different places and learn all these moves and have all these different experiences with these different competitors and other high level guys you get to rub from. Like we were just when we were in Austin for Renee's thing, we were down there. I was hanging out with JT Torres and Fiona Davies the whole weekend. Gabriel Sousa, obviously Renee, and our crew, and it was crazy. Like just being around JT all the time is dope because he's like one of the best no-gi grapplers of all time, ADCC champion, two time. And it's sick to just be hanging out with him and just like sometimes it's not even he's telling me some new thing or something that I've never heard of before. Most of the time he's just saying stuff that I've already said that I like go, oh, that's right. I am on the right path. I got to keep doing what I'm doing. If JT's saying it, it's got to be good. So you learn from all this stuff, but that's why you pay the instructor. That's why you pay the guys who have the equipment, who have the know-how, who have the following, who have the, you know what I mean? So I think it's just going to keep blowing up, but that's one reason why I wanted to go on the podcast to talk about that. And then we have Ashawn, obviously we talked about him, but brand building, logos.
Yeah.
You give him a logo or an idea and he'll come back with something.
Yeah, and what's crazy is how much this just naturally we've been doing this for this long, because it's like I started really thinking about like most people wouldn't be able to afford to have a fully produced podcast unless they did what I did, and then you have to get sponsors and all, you know what I mean? Unless you had a lot of money, it's not easy to do what we're doing.
Right.
So, thinking about how it would be affordable and with using clips and stuff like that, I've come up with some really good ideas that I would pitch to people, but that's consulting.
Right.
And then, the other thing too is like, all right, well, most of the time the people are like, well, I don't know what I want to do. Well, this is what I think you should do. Now I'm giving you my idea, which can work. And if you take all that, I can turn it into, here's your lower thirds, here's your graphics, here's your YouTube thumbnails. Because we've done that with Now We Go. We did that with Zach's Corner. I've done it with Off the Rails. I've had I've had podcasts on here that I've did for people and then they just disappear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that was a waste of time.
Right.
But like, it's already set up and it's affordable to the point of like, I'm not stupid because to think that you wouldn't be able to afford what I would have to charge you.
Right.
So I know that I'm not going to be like, hey guys, well, to start your podcast, it's going to be $6,000 a month.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like that's not affordable. And most of the people that I would give advice to is you don't need a podcast out every week and you don't need to be doing something topical unless you're trying to build an audience. What you should be using it as is a tool to sell stuff and to get clips for advertising and to build things within it, which you could do once a month.
Yeah.
So then it's like if you break it all down and now you have a Sean who could turn this stuff around in 24 hours and he's also affordable, you package the whole thing up. There's not really anyone doing anything like this around here at all.
Yeah, and then add in Quentin or any, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to, whatever your business is, he's going to go there, he's going to take pictures, like really good quality pictures because he knows what's cool. He's going to make a couple reels for you from there. Like he did it for, is it Bond Brewing I think he's working with?
Yeah, they did the homies with the beer for Home Base's 25th anniversary or however long they've been doing.
And that little group of pictures is kind of what sparked the idea for me. And I was like, because people were like, oh, you're just going to open up a social media marketing agency. It's kind of what it is, but not really, though. It's mostly just like, look, if you're let's say you're a jiu-jitsu guy and you want to get popular and you want to, because that's what people have to do. They got to, like, you know, fighters, same thing. Like, look at Sean O'Malley, the media he put out to get himself popular that got him into a title shot. Yeah. Granted, the guy's really good.
His media is so big, they released for the first time ever the knockout on YouTube and Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
The only reason they did that is because of his impressions.
Yeah.
Like,
because people are going to watch it.
Like, that guy's got probably the same amount of social media push as the UFC and or ESPN for them to allow that to happen.
It's crazy.
Under his name.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is they did that. EBI 3. Right, the Eddie Bravo Invitational 3 is the first time that they were like getting. The first two were like more underground. The third one was like, all right, we're gonna go all out, see if this works. And that's when they brought Grace in to do the team. Remember they had the team matches, and this was like going way back. And they did the same thing. They would never Fight Pass, and I forget even where it was on at the time. Would never put that out on YouTube, though, because you had to pay to go watch EBI 3. I think it was on Fight Pass, but I can't even remember, to be honest with you. But what they did was they released just Grace's match on their YouTube. Just her match. Just was like, you know what? We're not hiding this one. We got to let people see it. If you notice what Flow Grappling does now, too, a lot of times they put out their best. Like Nikki Ryan versus Renee is already on their YouTube. So they've been posting those out. So, like, really, you want to buy the thing so you can be a part of it and see it as it's going down, see all the other events and stuff. But then, you know, but like the whole point was, if you're trying to do that, how are you going to, you're just going to put up moves like everybody else online? Is that what you're going to do? You're just going to put up moves? Like, I got a lot of good moves, and I feel like I'm fairly known, and I put up moves, and they don't get the great. I mean, maybe the top two guys, like, people are getting, but nobody even, what are you going to sell? Like, you want to sell your school. You want to sell you as a competitor? You better get on and start talking to people and doing, like, really building yourself. You don't have to. You could just be super quiet. But then, you know, I know guys that are really good competitors, really good fighters, but they get no love because they never put themselves out there because they're afraid of blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, if you want to build up your brand, and I see people trying to build a brand and they're just, you know, they're just doing it with their phone. Like, why not? If you got a couple of bucks, you could literally rip a podcast, talk to your students. You could sell your t-shirts. You could, you know what I mean? Go on there once and talk about you as your story and post that. People love to hear about the actual person themselves. How else are you going to do that? How can you how can you directly talk to your fans and the people who want to buy your crap? You already got, the fans are built in. They're already on Instagram. How do you talk to them? With your podcast. How do you show them that you have a cool brand and people actually want to buy your stuff? With someone who, you know, knows how to make a cool logo and how to make people doing it themselves. It just doesn't look right. If you want to get on the fast track, this is the kind of stuff you need to do. Hit up the Underground Agency, follow us on Instagram, but then also just DM me or Mike or whatever, and we'll kind of send you the prices and like tell you kind of what you're doing. I already got people hitting me up. You know, they're just kind of getting started with their stuff, and they're like, look, I'm doing it by myself. Don't really know exactly what I'm doing, but I want to get everything working first and then be able to start. Dude, if I was just, like, I know you obviously and we do this, but if I was just a normal dude, like running a school too, and I was like, man, how can I really talk to, I would just go on the podcast once a month and just talk to the students.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, it's a direct line for, you know, it's
your customers.
Because everybody from the school follows you, because if they're going to your school, they're a part of what you're doing. So then if you start talking to them through media, because everybody's on it all the time, it's a direct way to be just getting your word out there and not having to talk to every single student, or like starting a group text message, which goes absolutely nowhere.
Boring, kill me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I'm excited because I feel like we have been so far ahead of this, and it's nice that people finally are understanding what I'm doing, or what you're doing.
Well, they got to pay for it, because then it's not like we're money hungry, but it's like, hey, you got to pay for our expertise. That's called consulting. You want me to work for you? You know, on the little time that I have.
Like, people have degrees and shit, man. Like, I've been doing this for fucking 8 years.
At least. We called Eddie Bravo from your studio.
That was our first studio, because, I mean, we did it out of my apartment, then I went to Bethlehem, and then Dan came on to do cryo. And then that's how we got introduced to you guys. And then you guys needed a studio. And I think what's funny is I think I was watching like Fight Pass, or there was like the Ultimate Fighter or something on. You guys came in, and because I remember like there was 2 rooms.
Yeah.
There was like that glass window,
Yeah.
and then you guys went over on the other side, and that was the first time we technically worked together. But like that was so goddamn long ago.
Yeah, and Eddie Bravo's just on the podcast. You know what I mean? He's talking shit about whatever.
Like, but like people don't understand is like just because you get it now doesn't mean that the time I spent over the last 8 years learning how to do this and learning how to do this the most efficient way that I'm actually have paid sponsors on my podcast. Like I'm not giving that away anymore.
Yeah,
I used to give it away because I had to explain to people what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, I'm not going to get into who hits me up, but like people hit me up and they're like, hey man, like how do I make money off of a podcast? And it's like, dude, I spent the last 8 years working full-time jobs while trying to do this. And like, I can't even explain to you what went into this. So it's like that to me is worth something. And I feel like where I'm at and the knowledge I have and what people need out of this now, I can package that up and sell it. Before I couldn't, like because it was just long form podcast and social media wasn't set up for reels and clips, and all it was just like you put podcast out because you got to remember at the beginning of podcast it was just you were listening to long format podcasts. Now, if you wanted to, you could follow somebody and get the best highlights of their podcast and clips and not watch the episode.
Yeah, the first time that I figured that out,
it's crazy.
First time I figured that out was Norm Macdonald.
Yeah,
and I saw a Norm Macdonald reel, and it was hilarious. And then I looked at, and it was on YouTube. And then I clicked on the thing on the bottom to see the person's site, and it was like 50 Norm Macdonald clips. And I just remember I was in my garage, and I was just dying to myself, like with my headphones on, just like, and it's just literally like a 30 to 45 to a minute not even that long sometimes clip. And there's one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another. And that's exactly what we were talking about before we started the podcast. You want to get in front of your audience and the people who follow you on Instagram. Well, there it is. There's someone in the morning sitting in the toilet just going through reels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and when somebody stumbles across something like that, like I've already found like comedians or like skateboarders
rappers.
or like like somebody shares somebody they like, and then it's a gateway into introducing yourself to anyone who's scrolling through.
I'm finding a lot of freestyle rappers. I don't remember any of their names. I should have wrote them down, but there's a couple of guys that I found that are just they just freestyle online to like sick beats, and I love it. It's awesome.
And if you don't have your, like, for instance, a perfect example. So if those freestyle guys aren't putting out that content, the people who find freestyle rapping aren't running into it. So if you are a jiu-jitsu person, or if you are an artist and your art, like I found this, I share him all the time. There's this dope artist. I want to get him on Zoom. But like he just throws a bunch of shit at a canvas and then he paints this really dope picture with it. If that guy wasn't making reels of his art created, I would have never seen that scrolling through art reels.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're not putting yourself out there and you're not making an attempt to record and put yourself out in any fashion and throw it out on the internet, there's never going to be an opportunity for anybody to find out who you are, because the whole world is connected through that. And the days of people driving past a karate school and seeing a red sign and being like, you know what, I'm going to sign up for that, or I'm going to take my kids there. People don't even do shit like
You're
that
not even
anymore.
going to find our place because we're not even on you would never drive by Finishers MMA. You wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Unless
you lived in that neighborhood.
Yeah, unless you actually live in that neighborhood. Other than that, you would never find it. You're only going to see us.
And even if you live in that
online.
neighborhood, I think people don't even know what that is.
No, they don't. They drive, dude, I'll be outside. Like yesterday, I taught kids class, then advanced class, then beginner class. And in between advanced and beginner class, or fundamentals we call it, there's no way. I can't be all sweaty. And it was so hot. I was dead yesterday. I was barely hanging on. And I'm also 40 years old, by the way. And then I was like, all right, I can't go sweaty into the next class, because taking a rash guard off, try to put it back on, so it's just gross. Someone's like, hair is in my beard. I'm like, I just go outside and I have one of the guys hold the hose connected to a
you
sprayer.
have like the shower.
Yeah, I just take him
yeah.
outside prison shower, and it's cold, but it feels good.
Yeah.
Like kind of wakes you back up and like zaps your soreness. And then I just shower. People drive by and are always like, what is going on over there? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on? And the front lights don't work properly or whatever. So it's not even really lit up, and it's not a big red jiu-jitsu sign anymore, because it's a completely different style building.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to get people. I mean, you'd be
that's
surprised.
right. The jiu-jitsu's on the inside.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people on Instagram, just because we have a forum, and this is more free tips here. If you go look at the link in 10 Planet Bethlehem or Finishers MMA's bio, you can actually, you could put your name into our email list, and then we'll add you. It adds it to our MailChimp, which is a program app website that holds all of our emails, so I can email everybody, and I just keep adding emails. So I have like 2,000, 3,000 emails on there. So it's like people either who wanted information from the school, did a tournament, or put their info in our Instagram. And people will unsubscribe to it all the time. Like, they're like, oh, I don't want to ever do this or see this guy again, so unsubscribe. But then I have a lot of people that'll resubscribe or just, put their name in the thing. But when you go on our Instagram, you click it in, there's a form that says you want more information. You put their name, what they want, and what they want to get out of training, and their email address and or phone number, and then it emails it to me, and then it also goes to my email list, and then I take that email and then I send it to Andrew, or sometimes I do it, and then Andrew hits him up and says, hey, what's up, this is Andrew, I'm one of the owners of Finishers, how can I get you in to start training? And it's just because it's so simple. I'll talk to people, Mike, and they'll have no idea. I'm like, how do people get a hold of you? And they're like, well, and I'm like, they're like, good question. I'm like, how do you have any students? Like, how do you have any students? No one can get a hold of you, and you don't track anybody's stuff. I didn't know about all this stuff. I had to learn about it too. I went down to Alan Belcher's business conference. I, paid money to go down there, and I sat in the thing, and I took a bunch of edibles, and I had Irish coffees because it was in a casino, because it was in Biloxi casino. But in the morning, I'd be in there like, whoa, email list? I didn't know about that, because I'm good at jiu-jitsu. I'm not good at this stuff.
Yeah.
You need someone to guide you, but it doesn't even have to be like you're paying someone all year. You could just pay us for a little bit. I could give you enough information in 1 hour that you'll be busy for a month, and then you'll come back to me and say, hey, like, okay, I got all this stuff done. What else do I need to do?
Yeah, if you're putting the work in, the more you put the work in to get to the next part of what you would need to know, as long as you kept putting the work in, you wouldn't really have any more questions until you got to another part that you would need help with.
Yeah. I've given
and even then, you can foot off of anything and be like, oh, I can do all this stuff.
Yeah. I've given 2, 3, 4 hitters right to someone, and they're like, dog, perfect. See ya. I'll be back. You know what I mean? And then they'll go, and I'll literally on Instagram sit there and see them instituting it right before my eyes. And I'm like, wow, he actually did it. God damn it, he did it. What's that from? Is that Jeff Goldblum or whatever? From Jurassic Park? He did it. I'm like, holy shit. That's what I'm like. He did it. You know what I mean? He's trying. There's been a bunch of guys I've worked with, but I didn't have this going right now. I just wanted to get in there and just help a couple people for like super cheap. I was charging people $100 a month for me to just talk to you at any point that you wanted to, and let me give you all the information. And literally people did like a month or two and were like, I got enough, see ya. And I was like, all right, well, I got to readjust this, but I just wanted to see if I could actually help someone first before I decided to just post up, yeah, I'm doing business coaching, pay me $1,500, and then you don't get anything from it. Like, I wanted to make sure it was good. And then the difference between, and someone said this to me, a guy I was working with, he said the reason he thought about working with me and like our whole conglomerate is because I didn't come off like one of those gurus. Like, he knew that I was like in the game deep, coaching and fighting and training and running a tournament. Like, he knows I wasn't just like, I've never heard of this guy before, but he's telling me how to market my martial arts school, and I've never seen this guy before in my life. Why would I listen to this dude? Like, how's your school doing? Oh, terrible? Okay, well then why would I listen to you? Or you don't even have a school. So you would pay these guys money, and I know people who did pay these guys money, and all they did was tell them to run ads. Yeah. And what I tell people is, bro, you're not even ready to run ads. Like, sure, you could run ads, but you're not even ready. It's like, when they say like, I could get you 50 new students in a month, which is totally untrue. But even if you got 50 new students, you wouldn't know what to do with them. You wouldn't even know how to onboard it. That's what I call them, onboarding. Like, I'm going to have to onboard this guy. You wouldn't even know how to get everybody in properly and be able to keep track of everybody and be able to keep all those students. There's a lot of things you got to do. I'm still learning. Every couple of days we're like going, oh shit, we need to add this or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
There are guys that I know that are really good and they already have a good school, but man, if they just instituted a few things, they would be like complete next level. You know what I mean? I know, and dude, we're like at about 240 students, I would say 250, somewhere around there if you count MMA fighters and people who pay cash and, you know, just other randos and people who work for the school. But I know that there are schools out there that aren't as big as ours, like, you know, how much space there is, that have 400 students. That's where I'm trying to get to. You know what I mean? If you have 400 students, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's out of control.
Yeah, it's like a high school.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think the graduating class is like 420 people or whatever. So, but it can be done. And you know, like I said, or what you said, barriers put up in between people, so that way it's like, hey man, look, I want to work with you, and I believe that you want to do this, but here's what it costs, and then we'll do all this stuff. But you got to also help me like sign up for a month
and
or
also,
2 or 3.
We're still running these businesses. We're not doing that as just a thing and being like, well, we ran these businesses and now we're going to sell. The idea of how you can run businesses like this. Most of the reason why I'm doing all of this is so when people ask me for free shit, I can tell them there's a price tag to it. And then if they weren't ever going to pay anyways, I'm not wasting my fucking time developing a podcast and then like moving or just doing anything, getting apparel. Apparel is such a motherfucking rabbit hole.
I know it is.
It's such a rabbit hole. And then sometimes I just try and send them to Kyle just to have him pick up the business, but then people want you to hold your hand through it. And I'm like, I'll fucking hold your hand through it, but if I'm stopping to do what I'm doing, and at this point in my life, and I learned the last 2 fucking years doing work for other people and getting absolutely nothing out of it and nowhere at the end of the fucking day, and that's all I'll touch on that.
Yeah.
But like, that was a waste of my fucking time, man. I haven't been more self-aware of my fucking time than when somebody wasted 2 fucking years of it.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Same with me. No one really. I mean,
and it's not disrespect towards anyone.
Right,
it's the
exactly.
same. It's the same thing as if you have a family and you have family time, and you don't want people interrupting it. Like this is my livelihood.
Exactly.
You know, I got a million fucking things going on, and it's like, and I don't mind helping people out, and I will direct you in the right fashion. But like, if you're seriously looking to get into some shit, I will stop what I'm doing and at a reasonable price show you how to get your shit together to go. I don't want to fucking babysit you.
Yeah, me neither.
I want to get, hey man, you know what you can do? Come in here once a month. We'll get this thing going. We'll kick ideas off each other. Pay me for my time to produce your fucking podcast, and you go make that. It's not even going to be, it won't even be a monetary thing anymore if you do it correctly, and then you have fucking paid advertising and you have shit. Dude, I had fucking advertising on this when I didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. But you know what the problem is? People, they want it done by somebody else, and they don't want to do it, and they don't want to put up the money. Once money comes involved, people get real like, oh, well, you know, and that's the perfect way to shut them down and say, hey, man, look, my time is money.
And we talked years ago about this where, you know, after the shows and shit, it would always be like, man, like, we just can't keep giving this shit away from free. And I would talk to my friends and they'd be like, dude, you're doing all of the shit you're talking about already, and you're just giving it all away to people, and you're not even completing your tasks because you're completing other people's tasks that are then completely diving the thing into the ground. A friend of mine told me this once, and we do a lot of videos together and shit, and he said, you know why they don't care about the project? Because it was free. And because it was free, there's no fucking value to it. And if you would have told him that cost $5,000 and he paid $5,000, you sure as hell would have been through no bullshit with the fucking video.
Yeah, we've even had guys sign up at the gym that said, like, you know, it's expensive, but you know what? If I pay for it, I know I'm gonna come.
Yeah.
Because if it's $10 a month, you ain't going.
That's the like, I guarantee fucking Planet Fitness makes half or more than half their money on people who don't, like, they want people who don't go to the gym.
Exactly. They'll
take
all their
you
money.
$10, it'll turn to $15. You don't even care because it's the same as a Netflix bill. You show up because they're giving fucking donuts out. Anytime you would attempt to get your life together, they're like, here's a lasagna bar over here. And then at the end of the day, they're fucking...
Yeah, also don't work out hard because we'll throw you out for it.
Yeah. But what a genius fucking idea. You just keep people who never get their shit together in a fucking area, and then you just take their fucking money.
The one guy told me, one of our guys that works for LA Fitness or used to work for LA Fitness told me they have like 15 or 7, let's just say it was 700 members, but out of the 700 members, like 150 actually come in.
Yeah, and they ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, and they
with
trash the
Beats
place,
headphones
yeah.
and fucking
Beat the shit out of the place and put herpes in the hot tub and
break into the fucking goddamn lockers.
And it's like I come here, and the only reason I come here is to use a sauna, and it doesn't work. Or if it does work, it's like there's a guy inside there.
You get fucking rickets.
There's a guy inside shadow boxing.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, can we sit in the sun? There's another guy lifting weights or doing push-ups on the thing.
It's the same bullshit anywhere. Like when I was at LA Fitness, and I didn't know till this Russian guy came in, like the temperatures that you would benefit from being in a sauna do not reach those in like a public sauna.
No.
It's not like legal, I guess.
No,
so the Russian guy came in and he's like putting fucking towels over sensors and fucking dropping water on the coals. And then I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. It felt good.
Yeah, it's for
I was
real,
just sitting in a fucking basically a minivan with the heat on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
fuck that place too.
Yeah, no, those places are awful, bro. Like that gave me, I almost said herpes, but I don't have herpes. Staph infection.
From the hot tub.
Yeah, from the hot tub. Because I used to live in the back of the gym, and I shaved my neck, and I went in the hot tub there just because like I'd lived at LA Fitness kind of.
Yeah.
And I got like really, really bad staph infection. So don't go in the hot tub. Don't go to LA Fitness. I'm going to actually I want to open up another business that deals with basically just sauna and cold plunge. I think that would be great. People love that. They pay for it already. And everyone's like, there's no saunas around here. We had all these people wanting to cut weight or just benefit from it. And, I bought a $99 NeuroCover ice bath. It's just, I'm like, why am I not selling it? It's like inner tube with plastic poles. And then you just fill it up with water and put ice in it. And you know what? Ice baths and stuff like that, that's not going anywhere. So that's another business idea. Steal it off me. Go ahead. But yeah, I mean, that's why we came up with this, and the Underground Agency is just a way for us to, I didn't think like, I'm going to make a lot of money telling other people how to run my business. That's not what I'm trying to do. This is just simply to shut down everybody that's like, yo man, give me all this information for free. Actually, it's $250 a month. If you want me to do what I'm doing for you for free, it's $250 a month. Oh, you want to do a podcast and this and that and other thing? Here, it's $500 a month. You know what I mean? It's $1,000 a month. I just can't do it. I have I have so much more stuff and I realized exactly what we said. I wasn't getting done my stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff that I needed to get done, I wasn't getting done. I'm like, okay, this needs to change right now, and that's why we did. So if you want to really build your brand, grassroots style, not just paying ads or thinking some guru is going to come in and tell you how to do it, this is the way it works. You just get a lot of content, and you get high quality content, and you just don't give a shit what people think, and you put it out, and you make sure all your ducks in a row. Everything's working together. Your brand looks good. It's all on cue. Everything is like looks the same. It looks professional. That's the main thing. And then you pay the people to do it and see if it works, and stick with it for a few months, and then hey, go from there. I'm not even anybody, and I have over 10,000 followers. There's a reason why. I just keep putting stuff out. Keep putting stuff out. I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to keep doing it and see what works. And we have a lot of stuff that's really working for us now, because not just me. We got our finishers Instagram. The sub-only tournament's got like 16K. 10 Planet Bethlehem has like 15,000 followers. We had a huge summit at the school. Like we're doing big things, and I'm going to keep pushing it. And you could be the guy that's like me and you and stuff in your area too. You don't even have to do it here. You can do this stuff too. You just got to pay for it. That's all we're saying. Any last thoughts on that? What do you think?
No, I mean, that was wrapped up nice.
Yeah, I think if you want to do it, you're going to have to pay. I mean, you're going to buy look at all this equipment. You're going to buy all this stuff, and I'm going to buy my own and put it in how many times I know Ross's people have hit him up like, hey, I want to do a podcast, and he sends them a whole list of shit, and it costs like $1,500, which is super cheap just to get the bare minimum, and they don't buy it. They're like, that's too expensive. What do you want?
Dude, it was, when I went from audio to video, like that was such a jump, because audio I started with just my friend's old equipment. Mm-hmm. Then we got the better mics and all that, and we upgraded to where it was really good. And then when we went to video, the lighting and the fucking, like that's the other thing too, is like people don't realize like you could try and do this shit in your fucking wherever, and I applaud you if you do, but the lighting is like, Jer's coming in this month and he's tweaking all the lighting again.
Nice.
And that's from like people touching it or just like, hey, we have to check the bulbs, but like there's so much shit that goes into this that no one sees outside of the camera shot that you have with the amount of fucking equipment. And then like, I'm like, all right, well, we've had these cameras for a while. I definitely want to upgrade to the camera. Each camera is going to be $1,000 minimum.
The new camera that we want for the finishers that Ross wants us to get is like $2,500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We already bought one that was $1,500, and then he has his own one. And the more money we make, we're always putting. We have new lights that we haven't. He's been busy. We have a bunch of lights we haven't been able to put up yet. So we're always putting back into it. Same thing with the tournament. The guys always want to do. Oh yeah, the switcher. We got
the
a switcher
editing
now. Yeah, the editing. No, that's that just people think that just happens.
No.
Same with Quentin. That's why Quentin blows minds. He's literally putting out, like, imagine you're going like they're going on somebody's going to like Pans or going on a trip or whatever. I guarantee to pay some guy to fly with you, to get on a plane and leave his girl and his house and go and look at the ones that we did for Renee. Like he just did. He did the one I posted up the other day that he did for Who's Number One Championships. I knew we had to pay him. Like, what do you want? We'll pay for your flight and everything, and we'll pay for you to document this trip. We could literally put out a finishers history documentary one day because we have so much footage. But every time I knew, oh, this is a big one, once I knew that Quentin really got into the professional level of like doing it on his own and upgrading his equipment and stuff, I'm like, whatever it costs, bro. And I'm sure he gives us a breakdown because it's us. But I'm like, bro, we need to take you on this trip. Renee gets it. Like, you notice Renee's got like, I don't know how many followers he has on Instagram now, but it's more than me. And he's one of my guys. You know what I mean? He had nothing before. And I was like up here. Now he's past me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He gets it. Now, obviously, he went way farther in competition level than I did in jiu-jitsu, and Instagram is way more and social media is way more now, but like half of the shit that I did, you don't even know, there's no footage of it. Like there wasn't even a camera, you know what I mean? Like, so I can't even post some of the stuff, but he gets it. Renee gets it. He goes, oh no, I'm building a whole, I'm wearing a Renee shirt right now, Flow with the Go. He's got a whole brand, and I'm going to get him back on this podcast. It'd be a good thing. But he's traveling all over the country. He's like, you know what? He was just in Iceland. He had that match against Nicky Ryan, took Quentin with him. And dude, before I even got one whole day, like he could wake up in the morning, they do the traveling, and they get there, they're doing saunas, and they're cutting weight and everything, and then they're going out to eat at some steak place or whatever. Quentin literally puts it out the next day.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that. ESPN, that is ESPN UFC level shit right there.
Yeah, the embeddeds.
People thought the original Who's Number Ones were like, they confused that for like Flow Grappling's one. And I was like, no, that's Quentin. That's my guy who's been following us. Because people were minds, that was the first time he did it. People's heads were exploding because I was putting up the pictures of myself, with Grace and like us over at the B team. And we're putting that up literally either the same night, like later on at night, or the next day. Dude, that's unheard of. Imagine you have him fly with you. We went the third day after the competition. We literally just were going to food places all day.
Yeah.
We woke up in the morning. Me and him were driving around for a little bit, and then we went to Terry Black's. Then we went to, which is a barbecue place, unbelievable. They recognize us from the thing, bring us in the back. So he's filming at Terry Black's. He's got JT with like $500 worth of brisket and barbecue. And then we went to some, Renee's like, oh, let's go to this place. And, and then we're at the like, I forget what the name of the little place was. You can go swimming and stuff. It's like a spring down there. And he's following around and filming everything. And then at the end, he's like telling Renee, he's like, okay, go ahead, hit this. Renee's like, yo, just want to thank my sponsor, freaking Rats. I thought it was on my thing. It's like Rats, but barbecue, delicatessen, whatever. And he's killing the sponsors, and then they're putting a logo on. He's putting that up same day.
Yeah.
And then people are watching that with their heads like being like, wow, how is he doing it? Because he's staying up and doing it. He became a professional. He's one guy that like was working at Geek Squad at Best Buy, and I was like, bro, you are way too talented for this, man. I was like, I don't want to tell you to quit your job, but also quit your job. And now he puts out all the stuff for the skate shop here. And he, like I said, he's another guy. I'm like, dude, if you were just pay him and be like, hey, I got a tournament coming up. Can you film me from the beginning of the tournament till the end of the tournament, win or lose, make me look cool? And if he was like $1,000, I'd be like, done. You know what I mean? Like we're going to trials, ADCC trials coming up in October. I want him to go to that. Like anytime we have something really huge, like shout out to, I've been working with a lot of tournaments on the back end, and one of the tournaments I've been helping out is called Emperor of the Mats. Now it's usually in Kuwait, so I was like a little bit like, Kuwait, I don't know, like that sounds from just remembering back in the day. Wasn't Kuwait an area that was like in Desert Storm or something like that? That's like an oil area, Saudi Arabia. Like it sounds like, I'm like, man, what's going on in Kuwait? I don't know if that's a good place to go. You know what I mean? But the guys seem great. So I've been watching a tournament. They're killing it out there. Middle East tournament. Insane. EBI rules. And they're asking me. Like they found me. Like somehow online. And the one guy, Salim, he came out and did the finishers tournament. And then Nazir, the other guy, he's doing jiu-jitsu and competing and stuff too. And they're running this tournament. Now in May, I don't know if I should announce this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't think he cares. But now in May, they're going to Abu Dhabi. Like Abu Dhabi. And I was like, wait a minute, Abu what? I'm like, I'll go to that.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'll go to Abu Dhabi. Like if I go to that, I got to take Quentin. Like, so when I tell him like, hey man, I'll go, but like, you know, I'm going to have to, you know, if I'm going to teach a seminar and run the tournament, like, you know, I'm going to have, there's got to be some kind of pay plus, you know, pay for my flight. But I would definitely take, you know, I wouldn't like try to overcharge him because I would love to go to Abu Dhabi. And then I would be like, hey, listen, I don't care about anything else. I just need my guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Taken care of.
Yeah, I need to just pay for his flight and let's throw him a couple bucks because he's going to film me and this whole thing, you know? And you realize it's worth it because that footage never goes away. And Renee hasn't even started doing it, but he could start taking 5-10 second clips out of that and just posting it up and just continually blasting people. Here's me eating
Once you have a
barbecue at
catalog
Doors.
too, it's just it's endless.
Yeah, my YouTube is getting pretty good. Like I have my YouTube monetized. You know, I don't get a lot, but I'm trying to post up videos every day. Look at, you know, great examples. Look at B Team. They're just content coming out the nonstop. They got a podcast. It's actually good. I love Craig Jones. He's hilarious. The El Segundo podcast.
Yeah. He's funny.
Yeah, dude. Him and Freddie out there. Shout out to those guys. BJJ World TV. Follow them. He's been cracking at it for a while, BJJ World TV, Freddie. He came out to finishers a long time ago, and dude, he's killing it. Same idea though. Built his brand, BJJ World TV, great name, good logo. And he started off doing news and stuff. Now he's like just the main guy for Craig Jones. Does the podcast with him, films all of his stuff. They're constantly putting out funny shit. People love it. He's getting like guys. Did you hear the one with? Did you listen to his podcast at all? Have you listened to Craig's? It's good, man. You should listen to it. The last one he had Gunnar Nelson on. You know Gunnar Nelson, UFC fighter, and he was just telling stories about how him and Ryan Hall went out and got drunk the night after they competed at ADCC. They didn't win, obviously, and day 2 came around and he showed up. He was super hungover, didn't eat anything. He was barely eating acai, he said, and he was sitting in the crowd. And they called his name to compete in Absolute. And he's like, all I had was my wallet, a pair of shorts, and a T-shirt. I didn't even have underwear on. And he went out there and competed and won. He started winning matches and shit. They were out drinking all night before. So, like, I love those kind of stories. And, like, Craig, he gets it. He understands the media game. You know what I mean? He figured it out quick. And obviously, you know, it helps. Doesn't hurt that he's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world. But, I mean, he's just constantly putting stuff out. And he don't care what people think. You know what I mean? That's a big thing. People are like, I don't want to put that out. I look bad or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, nobody gives a shit. Just keep putting stuff out, bro. Just keep hammering them with it and just keep going. But yeah, dude, who's number one, dude? Texas is sick. Like, I love Texas.
I want to go to Texas.
Have you never been there?
No.
Austin
It's on my hit list.
Austin is awesome. I think next time we go down there for like a full trip when everyone's going, come along and we'll stay a
100%.
couple of days. I'll try to take the fam and stuff because it's not that expensive. You can get Airbnbs and stuff, and there's so many. I mean, dude, you would obviously love it. Terry Black's is got to be the best barbecue of all time. I haven't had that much barbecue, but they're good. And just them showing us around is cool. Obviously, the food is really good, but there's a lot of cool places to go. I would love to hit up. We walked by Joe Rogan's
Comedy Mothership.
yeah, the mothership. That was pretty cool. But it's like that street is like borderline.
Crack
well,
alley.
there's crack alleys before that, but every now and then.
Now
like,
the comedians
Yeah.
always like talk about like they're like, you're shitting on LA.
the first time I went to Austin and we walked past that alley, I remember I stopped and I was like, it looked like a bomb exploded.
Yeah.
Like people were coming out of like, nuclear disaster. It was weird. And then it was like, there's like 10 girls in a bachelorette party, like laughing and hanging out and walking like all in skimpy clothing. And there's just some guy in mesh shorts with no underwear, just looking like super disheveled, banging on like looked like a caveman, banging on the pizza shop, going like this, Jesus, repent. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's a good, interesting mix full of people. But I think Austin's dope. I haven't been to Dallas or anything like that. The guys were, they said it was awesome. So definitely want to go check that out. But I mean, dude, Abu Dhabi, I would go there. There are a lot of places I wouldn't go there right now. I just don't feel like going. I need to do an LA trip. We're planning for Miami in February, doing a finishers tournament down there. So, and look, Renee did really good. I mean, Nicky Ryan's a prodigy, and, he hasn't competed a lot lately, but I mean, he did good. He made one, not even a mistake. He just stopped moving for a second. I think I'd have to go back and watch it, but I mean, dude, Nicky couldn't tap him, and he was getting tired, and Renee's got an endless gas tank. So he took it. Renee's got the mental game down big time. I noticed a lot of people don't got the mental game. They lose one match and they think they're a piece of shit. Renee, he'll lose and figure out how to flip it. And that's how I feel. That's what is sad about Connor. For a while, man, I thought that he was like going to be that, like the best, not just the best of all time, but the most, because a lot of people hate him now. I like everybody. I don't care. I don't really give a shit about the fighters. Like, I just kind of like to see good fights. But remember, he used to be like, if he lost, he would be like, well, I went out there, I gave it everything I can.
Yeah.
It was a great thing. I just couldn't figure out his left hand, and he hit me, and I couldn't see in my eye.
Fair play.
He would be like, well, fair play to the lad. We'll get him next time, and I'll come back with a better game plan. And that's what he would say. Now he's like, you wife's in my DMs.
Yeah.
I'll fight you in the parking lot. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, what do you do? Like, dude, that doesn't even sound stupid. Sounds stupid. You're losing it for yourself, because he could have always come out. Like, I think John Kavanagh, his coach, even wrote a book. I forget what the name of it is, but it might be something to the fact like there's no losing, there's only learning, or something like that. It's like that's what the whole book is about, and that's how he was at first. But then obviously, I mean, he's driving around in a yacht singing Biggie. I mean, it's kind of hard to, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to.
Sometimes you try and wrap your head around what his life is, and I don't think it's probably similar to what Mike Tyson went through.
Yeah. Just the money in general.
Like buying tigers.
Like at a certain point, like imagine just having.
He just came out with beer.
McGregor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has beer now.
Yeah.
Smart. He's smart. They're going to keep putting his name on everything. He'll be, but he hasn't put it out on everything. He's been smart though with the
He's super smart with all that stuff. He came out with the apple whiskey, which wasn't bad. I don't like shit like that anyways.
But people love that shit.
Yeah, so that's like people buy it up, and then they sold all that, and then he came out with the Black Forge. So this is his like Guinness.
Nice.
I like Guinness style. I mean, I'll definitely try it. I love him. But then it's. Like it's what he wants to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't feel like fighting, he's just like, yeah, whatever, man. I don't care about fighting him.
Yeah. Except he really wants to. He loves fighting though. That's the crazy thing.
He's trying to fight in December, but he, the other thing too is he's very thick-headed. So I feel like when the USADA started telling him what to do, he's just like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. I know,
and then he makes everybody wait, and then it's just like very Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather did the same shit.
So what are you going to do? You want to fight Floyd? You got to put up with it.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be someone waiting to fight Connor. Yeah. That ain't going away.
And it's like also like you have to think is like, what's going on in Chandler's head? Am I fighting this guy? It's very similar to like when you like apply for a job you really wanted. And it's like, am I getting? It's all nerves and like.
Yeah, and it's kind of like.
How is that going to affect him?
And I mean, it could all come out to him not doing anything.
Nope, don't matter.
Never getting a fight.
He's on.
And then you just wasted a year of not fighting just to wait to get the Connor fight. And I mean, Nate Diaz, is he the dumbest, smartest guy of all time? Shit just kept working out for him. Even in the fight, he
figured
lost.
That's how that boxing match was going to go. Like I didn't see him like throwing. He never really threw hands.
Yeah, no.
Not like he's not knocking people out with crazy shit.
Think about how much money he has now, though.
Nate Diaz. No wonder he didn't give a shit when the fight was over. Yeah. How about when he was yelling at the two guys? He goes, "Hey, play nice, be nice."
He's like, security guards is fighting now.
Yeah, but how
about he choked
him?
Yeah, he threw his hands up.
So they were talking about, and he's smart too because if he goes back to the UFC and they do any fight with him, whether he fights Poirier or he fights Conor, if he goes and does that trilogy with him, that's so gigantic.
Oh my God, that'll be
because
the
he
biggest
just
fight in
got put
history.
on to the Jake Paul people. So anyone who hated Jake Paul and he put him in that guillotine, they're a Diaz fan.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then if he doesn't do that and decides to do the PFL MMA match, which is going to go through his fight agent thing, now you're talking he's going to make boxing money, choking dickhead out in one round.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched that. I remember when he was getting like 12,000 to show, 12,000 to win, or 7,000 to show, 7,000 to win, and the UFC was fucking not picking him for bonuses, and he was yelling and pissed off all the time. And like, I watched that dude come up. I love when those old guys get paid.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I watched him when I was a kid.
Taking his shirt off.
No one
for
better.
trying to
Wearing
fight.
the Metal Militia shirts, him and his brother.
Yeah. I'm gonna fight. Who is he?
And I love that he choked that dude out on the street too.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he keeps going, that wasn't Logan Paul. I didn't realize how funny he was, because him as a person is not shown well through the UFC.
Yeah, yeah.
When I watched like a couple, like the Nelk boys had him on in these other podcasts, I'm like, oh, half this shit that he's doing is a shtick.
Yeah,
And like he's just like playing dumb, or like, and then like in the beginning of the podcast it was super normal, and then they started smoking a blunt, and then you saw him turn into what you get at the presser, because he's just smoking a blunt as soon as the fight's over. He's really
when he lit up at the when they they're like, Nate Diaz is in the crowd. He's like, he just lights up a joint.
Yeah, the Diaz brothers, I didn't care that he lost. I mean, I just wanted to see Jake lose. But then, like, I don't know. I like watching all that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
me too.
I like watching all of it.
Yeah, it's a spectacle. It's a show,
pay for
dude.
any of that shit, bro.
Nah, you can't pay for it. That was
and they don't care that you don't pay for it.
I know. People are just putting it up on Instagram anyways. And you know what, man? It's just a spectacle. I mean, I know a lot of guys who hate that shit, but...
You know who won Life this year? Mike Perry.
Yeah,
Mike
no,
Perry
he's another
won
one.
Life.
Yeah,
that fucking bare knuckle blew up. Now they're using him as a stand-in. I'm like he's another one. He was so awesome to watch in UFC. His entire life fell apart with his fucking stupid coach girlfriend at the time.
Yeah,
and he punched that guy at like a Dave and Buster's, and like there was all these things released on how like just 911 calls and shit.
He was saying,
dude, there was one point where he had nobody in his corner in the UFC.
He was saying the N-word and stuff all the time and everything. Guys are like, what the hell?
He had no one in his corner. Then at one time he just had a girlfriend who would yell like, "Do it!"
Yeah,
like that.
You thought he was going. I mean,
nowhere.
most people thought he was
crackhead,
going downtown.
dead.
Yeah. He was gonna do a Mike Liberto or whatever. Yeah.
It's cool. Like he's another one. It's fucking dope watching him get paid, man.
Yeah, me too. I like seeing those guys actually make money because there's an actual class action suit going on against UFC. You know that?
No.
Like,
is that the one Mark Hunt's trying to still do?
No, it's not about steroids. It has something to do with fighter pay, because they're like treating them like it's crazy. They're treating. In UFC, so like if you get paid, let's say you get 12 and 12 and you get 24 grand, the taxes come out of that. So it's not like they give you an already taxed check like from your job would, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They give you that money, then you have to pay. That's why fighters go broke and stuff, because they don't know what they're doing. They barely $24,000 for one fight. Now my hand's broken. I don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Or I got
Look
cuts.
at Weidman.
So then they that money gets taxed, and the guys don't pay their taxes. They end up owing a lot. So what they do is they treat the fighters. I'm not totally. Someone might call me on this, but they treat the fighters like they're subcontractors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But subcontractors that also can't work anywhere else.
Yep.
So I think that has something to do
Monopoly.
with it. And I feel like that's wrong. I feel like the UFC's got more money and they should pay the guys more. I really do feel that. I don't know.
They don't pay anyone.
They should really do whoever the main event
Even
is.
the top guys, where you look at like what Diaz made off of that Jake Paul fight, and then it's like, well, he made more off of that than fighting McGregor.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
And got way more people interested in it. Because the UFC, they control the whole thing, so they're like the government controlling the newspapers. It's like whatever they tell you is what you have to believe, There's a real good video. It's called just search Diaz Brothers dope video, and it's like a little. Did I ever send you that? It's like a little a small doc about the Diaz brothers and about them just smoking weed and stuff like that. It's pretty funny because Nate Diaz is like hitting a joint and he's like, they're pushing everybody else more than us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like complaining about it.
Like
He's like they're saying that our type of our type of vibe is not the vibe that they want, but I think it should be the exact type of vibe that they want.
Yeah.
He's like, people don't always like you because you win every fight or you're the best fighter. It's the type of fighter and the type of person that you are. And that's totally true. Like people will look past a lot of losses if they like you as a fighter and they know what you're about and they know what like your history and stuff. They'll look past losing.
It was interesting when they interviewed him afterwards because he's like, I lost that sanctioned boxing match.
Yeah, but it wasn't a fight.
He's like, it wasn't a fight.
Yeah.
He's like, we both know. He's like, I fuck him up.
I'll kill
in
him
fight.
in a real fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll box him. So yeah, dude. UFC's. I mean, it is still awesome though. I love watching it. Another one. What I got real hooked in on now is watching YouTube videos by guys just making videos about like different fighters and like
they do the history of it and stuff. There's one that's really good where they draw the person the entire time they're talking. Because he did the one on Mike Perry.
Yeah, that guy is the best. I should look him up and shout that out. What's the name of that one? Damn, I'll have to remember it, and I'll try to post it in the comments. But whoever that guy is, that dude, there's that one, and there's another thing called Dreading, which is a true crime thing, and I love the crime documentary stuffs. And those two are the best. I can't, like, if I pull up my YouTube and one of those has a new one out, I'm like, yes. I'm like, this is going to be sick because that guy did John Jones. He did a couple. There's a new one on John Jones. I'll have to send you the drawing guy. He did the Mike Perry one. He did a Francis Ngannou. He did a bunch of them. They're so good. That guy is the best. But he didn't do this one, but there's another guy did one on Tony Ferguson, and that's crazy. Like hearing about Ferguson and just thinking about how good he was. He was literally El Kukui, the boogeyman, and now he just looks like a shell of himself. I don't know.
Wants to play baseball.
I don't know what is going on with him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to speculate because I do know people who know him personally, and I really like Tony Ferguson, but he just doesn't look like himself, man. He's taken, and Khabib, I saw an interview. Do you know who Patrick Bet-David is? You know that?
Is that the guy who did like the interview with Khabib, and he also did it with
BPD, they call
like
him.
The suit or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what he's. I don't know.
He just came out of left field. You know what it was? It's because he interviewed Andrew Tate, and that's why I know him.
Yeah. So, he does a lot of interviews. I don't know. He's had a bunch of guys on political stuff, but he interviewed Khabib. Did you watch that one?
No.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I heard there's a lot of stuff he said that people won't like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But I mean, he's Dagestani Russian guy. Like you're not gonna. If you're some.
No, I know who he's been the whole time.
If you're some liberal American, you know what I mean? Like, mask wearing, mouth breathing complainer Karen, you are not going to like what Khabib Nurmagomedov has to say and the way he was raised and everything like that. And you know what, man? It's a different style, but I'll tell you what, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
No.
And it's his beliefs. You can't say like, I got my beliefs. Well, he has his too. And they come from, his beliefs are backed by something, and I respect him for it. I don't agree with everything that he says.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with a lot of the stuff, but I mean, some of it I definitely do, and it's based opinions. And
he
it's
don't fucking care.
No, he doesn't give a shit. But it's just hearing that interview was real good because Khabib was actually talking about Tony, and he was just saying how you can't take those beatings. Like his father would tell him, like, you're never going to be the same. Like after he took that Justin Gaethje beating, like your body, you don't come back from that all the time. You know what I mean? Your body's not the same. Look how many fighters when they got dropped, and then after that their chin just became nothing. It
was a Gaethje beating, and then Chandler hit him with that fucking.
Well, that after Gaethje, that was toast. I mean, then he's gotten submitted a bunch of times.
Well, I mean, the Chandler one was when he got the fucking front kick. Anderson Silva, fucking Vitor Belfort.
It's tough to come back from those knockouts, man.
And then get choked out by fucking Bobby Green.
Choked out by Bobby Green. He got heel hooked where his knee almost exploded.
Yeah, that's right. Who was that? Charles?
Dariush.
Yeah, Dariush.
Dariush got him, and then Charles the Bronx was wrecking him. I mean, he's another one though. Like, how many beatings can that guy take? He's taking some heavy hits.
Well, there was an interesting clip where they showed his movement before the fight starts, where he does that slide across the thing back and forth, and then they put the two clips next to each other, and he's barely doing that.
Really?
Like his movement, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the beginning, and I get you're older and whatnot, but like the whole thing that he used to do before, it was a part of his whole entrance and all that.
Hey, you never know, man. Some guys, they get older, they don't train as much as they used to. They're not as hungry.
Hurt too.
Yeah, they're hurt. They got fit. Now they got more money, more problems. They got families. They got yachts. Well, McGregor's got a yacht, but yeah, it's different, man. Even, I mean, dude, I watch me just training and stuff. Like in my mind, I'm still 20-something years old, but I just, but the next day is the worst. I wake up the next day, I feel like a truck ran over me. That's the hardest. I need to get on TRT, D-ball,
Anything.
Yeah. Do you ever see those fake natty guys? Those guys are funny. I'll have to send you some of those clips. These are just two dudes at a gym. I love stuff like this because it's funny, but then I'm also looking at how they're branding it.
Yeah.
And it's just two dudes that are just weightlifting dudes at the gym. I've never heard of them before. I have no idea. They do just funny ass clips. It's like the most anabolic man. They're like, he has so much oil in him. The U.S. wanted to invade him. He's so funny. The world's most anabolic man. He's like, I don't always. Then he's like spotting someone and then just forgets that he's spotting them, and they're like getting choked out by the thing. He looks at the camera. He's like, I don't always take gear, but when I do, I lie about it.
That's funny.
Fake natty. Those guys are funny. He's like, he's like, so you're natty, right? And he's like, yeah, I've never taken. He's like, so you've never taken. The guy is like stacked, and he's like, you've never taken anything before in your life. He's like, well, I was a little TRT, and maybe I did a few cycles back in the day. He's like, all right, well, what's your TRT? He's like, well, I take a little growth for this, I take some D-ball for that, and then I do a little, TRT replacement or whatever. And he's like, bro, that's not natty. He's like, to me, it is, bro. It makes no sense, but it's funny as hell. And those guys are killing
wild.
it. Those guys are killing it, but they got like natty hats, they got glasses, and I mean, they put up a video or two a day.
Yeah.
And they're killing it. That's another great, branding thing, like, because that's huge. I mean, I ripped off one of their videos, and me and Jimbo did the video where, like, I'm selling them on, I'm like, all right, MMA class starts now. You can jump in. Here's your bag of stuff. You get a free t-shirt. Let me know if you have any questions. Jimmy's like, all right, what kind of gear do I need for sparring? I'm like, well, you can start with a low dose of test. And I give him the whole, like, concoction. That has like almost 100,000 views on my reel.
Funny.
Yeah, but like, what? Why though? Because it's some stupid thing, and and there's like the comments in it are hilarious. Guys are like, that guy ain't on shit because I have my shirt off. They're like, that guy should be taking what he's talking about.
It's the people who don't know who you are that randomly ran into it out of the 100,000.
There's people shitting on me. There's people being like, that's not Andrew Tate. Or some people will be like, yo, it's Top Z. They actually say
Top Z.
And then I look up, like Jimmy was saying, he's like, I look at the comments, and then I see people writing like, is that Andrew Tate for reals? And then he'll look at their like Instagram, and it's like someone who has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how they think I'm Andrew Tate. Maybe because I did those other videos where I dressed up like Andrew Tate. But yeah, I mean, dude, why not, man? I'm just putting stuff out. I'm throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So, I mean, why not? You got to not care. Let me think what else. This weekend, we got the finisher sub only going on. I don't even know what number it is. Who knows? I mean, how many finishers tournaments have I broken down here? It's been insane. We got 30 matches. It's going to be crazy. Sid's going for a title. We got Dylan Takedown Brown from the schools competing. We got Jimmy. Jimbo Van Osdale, he got a match, so we got our team in full effect. We got a bunch of other random. There's two guys competing from Germany. They're in town. We got the whole Jason Rao Vanguard squad. We got dudes coming from there, 10 Planet East Long Island. Got team, a lot of the Amanda Mazza, who is on your podcast. She's on it. You got the main event is Goop Ice, the Adult Slayer, Pat Chigoli versus Nick Willie. Got Frank Rosenthal defending his title for the millionth time. So that's going to be this Saturday, the Summer Bash 2, and we're actually starting at 10 a.m., and that's live on Flow Grappling, only on Flow Grappling, and that'll be cool. I got to leave early. It's my sister's wedding, but I'll be there in the beginning, so it'll be dope. A lot of good matches, a lot of up-and-comers, and then Sunday we have a picnic. If you're bored Sunday, Mike, do you have a pop-up Sunday? Or
No, I have a pop-up Saturday, so I'll get back Saturday night.
Sunday from 2 to 8, 10 p.m., something like that. We're having the school picnic, both 10 Planet Bethlehem, 10 Planet Allentown, the whole Finishers MMA conglomerate is meeting up down at Monocacy Park in Bethlehem. We got one of the pavilions Thor already rented, so we're going to go down there and, rip burgers, have fun, drink some beers, belt promotions, and, just kind of do like an end of the year thing. I always give like a little speech trying to, pump everybody up and get everybody ready for the future. So very excited for that. And then going forward, September, I don't have that much going on. There will be another Finishers tournament towards the end of the month. October, I'm going to be in North Carolina teaching a seminar at the Lycan MMA camp. That's in the beginning of December. Then I have of October, I mean. Then I think the next week is the 10th Planet, the ADCC East Coast Trials. So I'll be in beautiful, luxurious Atlantic City.
Ooh.
Hopefully I can get stabbed with a needle under the boardwalk or something.
Long.
And then it's trash, but that's where it's
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And then after that, I think I might have a seminar at 10 Planet East Long Island. Shout out to Chris Shigoli, just opened up out there on the eastern part of the moon. I call that because it's only 3.5 hours away from my house, but it actually takes me 10 hours to drive there. But yeah, so other than that, we're busy as usual. But get at me if you want anything from me. Instead of having to give a million different things, just go online to Instagram, click on the link in my bio. You can get everything from there. Free business call, listen to the podcast, go on my YouTube, buy DVDs, all the crap that I'm selling, it's on there. So if you need to get a hold of me, you can always check me on there. Hit me in the DMs. I'm always checking messages, but pumped to be back. And like I said, if anyone like knows anybody that they want me to get on, I'm going to start we're going to get the Zoom popping, and I'm hoping to get at least 2 of these per month. So that way I can at least maybe every other Thursday come down or something like that and do it, and continue to.
Once you start trying to do every week, it eventually just stops working.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost too much.
It is.
I know I have a lot of stuff
it's
promote,
life
but
and scheduling, and that's why when people are interested in like doing a pod, I'm gonna my suggestion to them is like, yo, come down once a month.
Yeah, can you do it?
I can cut you 4 clips. You got a clip for each week. You time it correctly. You get some shit backed up, or you wait to start your pod until you have a couple episodes in, and then believe me, man, I used to drop fucking 3 podcasts a week sometimes.
I know.
It was insane. It's so dumb to do that.
Yeah, I
think just burning fucking material.
Unless it's your complete 100%, the only thing you do, and you're making millions of dollars, then Then I get it, because some of those guys are like Ben Shapiro and some of the conservative guys.
Believe me, if I started monetizing heavy, I would be putting out 5 a week.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, man, I'm just cool with. I want to be able to talk to the students. I want to be able to let people know what I'm doing. I want to be able to sell all my stuff. And I want to just keep it going and keep working with you and just keep getting it out there. So once again, thanks to Never Again Studios for having me. And I'm going to keep ripping the podcast, and hopefully either the next one or the one after that, we'll start knocking out some Zoom calls and seeing who we can get on.
Yeah, next one we can call Ross in the beginning and just make sure everything's working, or have him come down.
Yeah, well, that's perfect. So, and if anyone has any suggestions or anything that they want to see me here or talk about, always hit me up. I'm just pumped to be back and pumped to be doing this, and we'll just keep it going. So shout out to all you guys. Love you. Zach's Corner Podcast. Peace.